Right now, you're probably offering something to the world. A service, a product, maybe even an idea. But here's the harsh truth. If people aren't buying in droves, it's not because your product sucks. It's because your offer does. Today, we're breaking open the vault with 100 Menelers Offers by Alex Harmozi, the underground classic that turned whispers into roars in the entrepreneurial world. This is not about gimmicks or sleazy sales tactics. This is the blueprint for building Grand Slam offers, the kind people feel stupid saying no to. In this episode, we're going to show you how to multiply the perceived value of what you already sell, solve the pain points your market is desperate to fix, and engineer offers so irresistible they break the noise barrier. You'll walk away not just understanding Hormozi's value equation, but mastering it. And when we're done, we've got a powerful knowledge check waiting for you. A quiz designed to lock these principles into your business DNA. I'm Umair, joined by my co-host Angelina, and what you're about to hear could be the turning point in how you sell, scale, and succeed. And yes, there's a surprise bonus waiting for those who stay until the end. Let's get tactical. Let's get wealthy. Let's dive into 100 Menelers Offers.
Welcome to the Deep Dive, your shortcut to understanding the ideas that truly matter. You send us the articles, the research, the PDFs, gathering digital dust, and we pull out the essential insights for you, the stuff you need to know right now.
Exactly. And today we're tackling something really crucial for any business that wants serious growth. How do you actually find and then really cultivate your most valuable customers?
The ones who drive the profit, the ones who stick around.
Those ones.
We've been digging into an excerpt from Alex Harmozi's 100 Menelers Offers, the lost chapter. And this isn't just theory. Hormozi saw these ideas play out at the highest levels, especially watching Vista equity partners.
Right, and get this stat. Vista, across the companies they own, responsible for over $50 billion in sales.
Billion. With a B, it's kind of staggering.
It really is. And their secret, which is what we're unpacking today, it really boils down to this almost ruthless focus on their best customers.
The ones who stay longest, spend the most. Understanding that and, how to copy that laser focus, that's the core insight for this deep dive.
Precisely. So our mission here is to break down that Vista strategy, at least Hormozi's take on it, and give you some concrete, actionable steps, things you can actually do to find and focus on your most profitable clients.
Yeah, this isn't about just tweaking things. It's about potentially unlocking major growth just by knowing who really moves the needle for your business.
Okay, let's get into it. The excerpt kicks off with Hormozi at this event feeling pretty good, His software company, Alan, making $1.7 million a month.
Yeah, within the first 6 months. That's a pretty solid start by any measure.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Really commendable. But then someone from Vista gets up to speak. Someone who's seen their approach from the inside.
And suddenly that $1.7 million a month maybe felt a little less impressive.
You got to imagine, right? Because this speaker shared this key insight. Vista's strategy for buying companies. It wasn't just about the total number of customers or even the top-line revenue.
So what was it about?
Their focus was really analyzing the existing customers of the companies they were looking at deeply.
Okay. How deep are we talking?
Really deep. They specifically looked for the customers who stayed the longest, right? High retention, and the ones who spent the most over their lifetime.
Lifetime value, essentially.
Exactly. And they actually built a system to score these customers based on their overall value.
Okay, right. And here's where it gets really interesting, I thought. If Vista found a company and it had this solid base of really valuable customers, but maybe they weren't being served perfectly, that's when they'd pounce.
Precisely. It wasn't like, oh, let's buy everything in this sector. It was super targeted. Find the hidden gems customer-wise.
And then after they bought the company, the focus didn't stop.
No way. Their tactics were just as refined. They'd systematically just cut off the marketing channels, the sales efforts that were bringing in the low-value folks.
And wasting time and money there.
Right. And then double down, really invest heavily in the channels that consistently brought in those top-tier, high-value clients.
It's like optimizing for impact, not just activity.
Totally. And it's a really deliberate application of that Pareto principle, right? The 80-20 rule.
Yeah, 80% of results from 20% of effort, or customers in this case.
But Vista takes it further. They're thinking exponential growth.
Right.
If 20% of your customers bring in 80% of the value, imagine replacing the other 80% with more of those top 20% types.
Whoa.
Hormozi suggests That kind of shift, done right, could lead to like a 5x increase in the business.
Okay, mind slightly blown. So Vista does this after they acquire a company, but how does a business, one that's already running, figure out who their ideal customers even are?
Good question. And that's where Hormozi lays out this pretty practical 4-step process.
Mm-hmm.
He really stresses that figuring out your perfect avatar, as he calls it,
Right.
it's a critical part of your whole market strategy. It's not just who can I sell to. It's maybe even more important, who should I not sell to?
Being intentional about it. Okay, so what's step 1?
Step 1, survey your current customers. And not just like a quick satisfaction poll. He means detailed information.
Like what kind of detail?
Right. Demographics, age, location. He even mentions political affiliation, which might give clues about values.
Interesting.
But also, crucially, their business stats, revenue, profit, number of employees, churn rate, how long they've been in business, their own customer lifetime value. You want to know if their business is healthy and growing.
Makes sense. You want customers who are set up for success themselves. What else?
Their aspirations.
Yeah.
Super important. What were they actually trying to achieve when they bought from you? What specific problem were they desperate to solve? Understanding their why gets you to the real value you provide.
Got it. And the last piece of the survey puzzle.
Their buying journey. This is key. What was the biggest reason they finally said yes? Was there a trigger event? What content did they look at? Did testimonials matter? How much content?
Right.
How long did it take from first contact to buying? Where did they first hear about you? And maybe the biggest clue, did someone refer them?
Wow, that is a comprehensive list. Sounds like way more than your standard rate us 1 to 5 feedback form.
Oh, absolutely. Hormozi even suggests doing these as like actual conversations, phone calls, maybe at events, get richer answers, and offer an incentive, make it worth their time.
Okay, makes sense. So you do all that work, gather all this amazing data. Step 2 is where the filtering happens.
Exactly. Step 2, find your biggest spenders. Or, well, your best customers overall. You take those survey results, sort them. Who do you actually like working with? Who spent the most? Who stayed the longest?
The trifecta.
Right. Then comes the hard part, maybe. Focus only on the top 20% across those metrics. The rest, ignore them, for this exercise at least.
Sounds a bit ruthless, but I see the logic. Focus firepower on the ones proving their worth and fit. What's step 3?
Step 3 is putting your thinking cap on. Qualitative analysis. You got to read through the responses from that top 20%, look for the patterns. What do they have in common?
The common denominators.
Yeah. Hormozi jokes, thinking is hard, but this is where you really need to dig in. What makes these top customers similar? He finds usually it's like 3 to 5 key things, these common qualifiers that jump out.
Okay, so survey. Find the top 20%. Analyze for common traits. Now, step 4 is putting it all into action, I assume.
Bingo. Step 4 is execute, and it's got 2 main parts. First part, 4A, speak to your new avatar.
Meaning change your marketing.
Exactly. Once you know who your best customer is, you got to start talking directly to them. Be explicit about the requirements, the characteristics in your ads, on your website, everywhere.
So no more generic messages trying to catch everyone. Get specific.
Totally specific. Hormozi says this will naturally pull in the right people and, just as important, push away the ones who aren't a good fit. He's blunt. Stop trying to sell to people who don't fit the profile. Seriously. Stop.
Oh, okay.
And then obviously ramp up your efforts on the channels where these ideal customers actually hang out.
Makes sense. Don't fish in empty ponds. What's the second part of step 4, 4B?
Re-engineer the sales process. This is about looking at how your best customers actually bought. What steps did they take? What info did they need? How long did it take?
The buyer journey.
Right. You map out that successful journey, and then you basically rebuild your sales process to intentionally guide new prospects down that same proven path.
So you're not leaving it to chance anymore. You're creating the optimal experience based on past success.
That's the idea. And he gives this great real-world example from his company, Gym Launch. They did this whole process, surveyed everyone.
And what did they find about their best gym owner clients?
Super specific stuff. They tended to be right-leaning or conservative, married men, 25, 45 years old, U.S.-based gym owners, already had a signed lease, at least one employee.
Wow.
Minimum $10K a month revenue starting out. They 30 clients already. And their goals, big ones, like hitting $1 million in revenue, working less themselves, opening more gyms.
That's incredibly granular. You could almost picture the person.
Totally. And their reasons for buying were clear, too. Not enough leads, feeling like they were in a bad market, problems with pricing, trouble finding good staff.
So Gym Launch took that profile.
And ran with it. They shifted their advertising to target audiences packed with those specific gym owners. They stated the requirements clearly in ads, on landing pages, tailored all the messaging to those exact pain points and big dreams.
Very focused. No more trying to appeal to every single gym owner out there.
Exactly. And the data on how they bought was also a game changer. Get this. 78% of their top customers consumed at least 2 pieces of long-form, in-depth content before they bought.
78%. That's not trivial.
Not at all. So what did Gym Launch do? They started intentionally building at least 2 pieces of really valuable long-form content into the journey for every lead.
Made it part of the process.
Yeah, and they upped their overall content game. They even made like a greatest hits list of content for the sales team. So if a prospect had a specific issue, boom, here's the perfect deep dive resource for you, guiding them down that proven path.
And crucially, Hormozi says this was real value, right? Not just sales pitches dressed up as content.
Absolutely. Genuine help, genuine insights, which builds trust and positions them as the authority.
It really comes back to this theme, quality over quantity. He tells that amazing story comparing his business to another one in the same fitness space.
Oh yeah, that one's wild.
Similar total sales, right? But his company made 70 times more profit.
70. It's almost unbelievable, but it shows the power of this focus. The other company, they were just taking, like he says, anyone with a pulse and a credit card.
And the results, high churn, high cost to get customers, low retention, probably lower satisfaction because the advice had to be so generic.
Exactly, because they were trying to be everything to everyone. Whereas if you focus, you can really specialize, deliver more value to the right people.
Which leads to higher retention, better margins, you can charge premium prices, get repeat business, it just compounds.
It's a virtuous cycle. And Hormozi makes a good point. A lot of competitors try this, but they don't stick with it. They get scared, maybe revenue dips short term, and they panic.
They remove the qualification steps to get volume back up.
Yeah, and that just kills the profitability long term. He mentioned merging marketing and sales into one acquisition team helped them stay focused on closing valuable deals, not just hitting lid quotas.
Aligning incentives, it makes sense. He uses that example too. Would you rather spend $5 to get a 45K customer or DACO to get a $5K customer?
It seems obvious when you put it like that, right? It's about the long-term ROI, not just the immediate cost per lead.
But knowing that ideal journey, it takes patience. It takes looking at the whole business, not just, as he puts it, treating customers like interchangeable widgets.
And the difference in lifetime value he talks about, it's staggering. Gym Launch, LTV over $45,000. Competitors, maybe $6,000, $8,000.
That's like 6 to 8 times higher.
Imagine having 8 times the revenue per customer with maybe similar costs. The profit implications are just enormous.
It really changes the entire financial structure of the business. He does acknowledge, though, that focusing like this, saying no to potential customers, it might mean revenue dips a bit at first.
Yeah, that's the scary part for many. Fewer higher value customers might mean a temporary drop in the top line.
But the argument is the long-term payoff, better retention, much higher profitability is worth it. He asks that great rhetorical question, something like,
Unless you're planning on quitting business soon, why wouldn't you make the right long-term call?
exactly. It's about building something sustainable and truly profitable.
So, boiling it all down, what are the immediate things listeners can actually do? The first steps.
Hormozi keeps it pretty simple. 3 key actions right away. First, survey your existing customers, like really survey them.
Get that deep data we talked about.
Second, analyze that data meticulously. Find those leading indicators. What do your best customers consistently have in common? Their traits, their behaviors.
Pinpoint that top 20% profile.
And third, use that knowledge. Refine your advertising to speak directly to them and re-engineer your sales process to match how they actually buy.
It sounds, I don't know, almost obvious when you lay it out like that. Survey, analyze, adjust.
Right. But it's so often ignored. He calls getting this right a force multiplier for your whole business. It leads to better quality leads and actually often more leads eventually because you're attracting the right people more effectively. And higher average customer value, of course.
Proactive qualification, basically.
Exactly. So the big lesson here is really the huge impact of identifying and zeroing in on your most valuable customers, moving past just chasing volume and getting really strategic about who you serve.
Which leads perfectly into our final thought for you, the listener. Take a minute and really think about your current customers. Who are the 20% driving 80% or maybe even more of your success?
Your profit, your best testimonials, the ones who are easiest to work with.
Right. What specific things do they share? Maybe things you haven't really noticed or focused on before. And then ask yourself, how radically could your business change if you decided to only focus on attracting more people just like them?
It's a powerful question, and it all starts with that first action Hormozi recommends. Survey your customers. That's the key to potentially unlocking some serious growth.
Definitely something to chew on.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for taking this deep dive with us today. We'll catch you on the next exploration.
If you're still making average offers in a world drowning in average, you're losing. You've now seen the power of 100 mailers offers, the playbook to dominate your market by creating insane value, collapsing resistance, and making price irrelevant. But here's the thing. Knowing this isn't enough. The market only rewards execution. So here's your next move. Subscribe to this channel because we're just getting started. Smash that like button to tell the algorithm you're not here to play small. Tap the links below for tools, templates, and access to our community of offer builders and growth hackers. And now, the ultimate filter, the knowledge check. If you truly want to rise above the noise, if you're serious about becoming that person who doesn't just learn but executes, then take the quiz. Right now. It's the proving ground for those who refuse to blend in with the average and dare to create undeniable value. Click it. Own it. Out-offer everyone.